Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Mark IV Ford Escort. Welcome back, and Quarterlight, if you don't know, we're a very small car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at car brochures 3 times a week. Today is Friday, which means Ford Fridays, where we look at a Friday, or should I say a Ford brochure on Fridays. But anyway, yes, today the Ford Escort Mark IV came out in 1986. I think it was actually March 1986 when it was launched, ran till 1992. Although internally it was actually known as the Mark III facelift and had the code name Erica 86. Anyway, this particular brochure is from February 1988, and at this time the Escort range was quite extensive, so we really should get on with this now. So let's look at today's brochure. So first image is this Ford Escort next to the sea. And always one of the things I always wonder about these cars seen in car brochures. You sometimes see them driving on the beach. Here it's getting splashed by the salty waves. I wonder who gets these cars afterwards. Do they actually get sold as a brand new car, even though, you know, they had all this salt on them? But anyway, that's by the by, of course. But here we go, the Mark IV Escort. Let's turn the page. And as we turn the page, if I can, we get to sort of this like X-ray of the Mark IV Escort. Nice little look of the inner workings. We're not going to look at this in too much detail. We're going to move straight on to the first page, where we see the start of the Escort range, the lowly Escort Popular and the Escort L. So let's have a look at some of these images. So there we go, like I say, starting off with the lowly Escort Popular, stylish, spacious and versatile. The Escort Popular hatchback offers outstanding value for money. Equipment now includes a tailgate wash wipe and 155 tyres on 1.3 saloon. So we have at least got a tailgate wash wipe, although you can certainly see on there we've not yet got any sort of wheel trims, and we don't have any sort of like rubbing strips to avoid those car park or supermarket rash from people opening the doors on you. But there we go, that is the start of the range. Almost feel like, particularly with Panbike, they're kind of like a little bit embarrassed about that, because one tiny picture of this and the rest is talking about the Escort L, but it is there. So let's have a look at the Escort L now. So the Escort L, it says never less than lively. The Escort L becomes a very brisk performer when powered by Ford's 1.6 litre lean burn engine with 90 PS of power and a strong mid-range torque. So we've got a choice of 1.3 or 1.4 or 1.6. Looks like there's even a Ford 1.6 litre diesel if you must. 5-speed gearbox standard on the L. Tailgate wash wipe. We've got the full wheel covers. What else have we got? Spacious and versatile 5-seater interior with velour carpet and a 60/40 split fold rear seats. Front seats have padded, fully adjustable head restraints. We've got an FM cassette audio system and an aerial incorporated in the rear windscreen. So not too badly equipped really for the time, and particularly it's just the L model, but there it is. We've now got the sort of rubbing strips, so we've got wheel trims, which is nice, and you know, overall a nice basic little hatchback. Let's look at the interior. Pretty basic, isn't it, there with the clock, and there is that sort of cassette audio system, which would have been the same as you would have got on the Fiesta Gear by looks of it. And the interior with these sort of like a little bit of red in there. Not a bad interior, but very basic, isn't it, overall? But at least we do get that sort of 60/40 split screen. we better move on with the range, because like I say, the Escort range is quite extensive, particularly when you compare it to the Fiesta range at this time, which went straight from the L all the way to the Ghia. Now we go from the L to the LX to the GL to the Ghia, and then other models after that, so we must get on with it. So like I say, to the LX now, and you know, whereas the Fiesta seemed to be just a huge gap between the L and the Ghia, the Escort was constantly filling in, so we got an LX now. If we notice these sorts of red inserts, we always used to assume that these red inserts meant it was a sporty model. Then they brought out the LX and started using them sorts of red inserts to mean, I don't know really, mean it looks a little bit better than the L, I guess. But anyway, let's have a look at some of these images. As here, Ford's 5-door Escort LX is the latest addition to the high-value range that has dominated the top 10 sales league for year after year. Features include sunroof and tinted glass, power, take your pick, 1.4 or a 1.6 with a 5-speed gearbox. And then we got key features. We'll just quickly go through this. At the end of this Escort range, we will have a look at the full specifications, but what we've got: protected body side mouldings, grey paint treatment below body side mouldings, tinted glass, tailgate wash wipe, screened glass sunroof with louvered blind, full wheel covers, 60/40 split rear seat. Instruments include a tachometer, so we have got a tachometer or rev counter now, a quartz digital clock, vanity mirror on a passenger sunroof, we've got this self-seek cassette player, and let's have a look, see what else we've got. A little bit of a front image of the LX, and then if we go down, it starts talking about this glass sunroof, which is a nice little extra, and a view of that interior. Like I say, we've now got this rev counter on there, and instead of a little basic clock where that rev counter was, we've now got a proper sort of quartz clock, although it's not really shown in that image by the looks of it. And then finally the seats, which is still looking very basic, isn't it? But anyway, let's move up the range. We get to the Escort GL. So let's zoom in and have a look at some of the features on the GL model. So we've got that screen glass sunroof again. Looks like we've got central locking now as well. So we've got a choice of engines: 1.4, 1.6, 1.6 diesel. Tinted glass, central locking, center console with integral coin slots, tachometer with quartz digital clock, tilt or slide sunroof, limited glove box, FM cassette, and we've got optional extras such as a heated front windscreen and mechanically controlled ABS. I guess the main extra on the GL really is that central locking by the looks of it. Have a look at that sunroof, telling us that they've all got this 5-speed gearbox now. Central locking, of course, like we mentioned, and a nice little image of this red Escort GL, showing all the extra bits of chrome around the windows now. What else are we going to be showing on here? The tinted glass and that interior on the GL model. And the interior. Seats are starting to look a little bit nicer, I think. And then we get to the Escort Ghia, and the first thing that really stands out about the Ghia for me is the interior is starting to look much nicer and a much more comfortable place to be. So let's have a look at some of the information to see what extra we're getting with this Ghia model. Okay, so what have we got on the Escort Ghia in 1988? First of all, nice to see the Ghia badge. this is a car you aspire to have in your Escort range, particularly if you're driving around in your Escort Popular or Escort L. It says, affordable luxury makes the Escort gear an exceptionally attractive proposition. Complete with such features as central locking and a sunroof, this elegant 5-door is about comfort, convenience and refinement. Similar sort of idea, sorry about that. We've got a choice of a 1.4 or 1.6. No diesels. I think they've kind of like thought, we don't want diesels with our gear badging, but we've got a 5-speed gearbox, electronically operated and heated door mirrors, central locking, electrically operated front windows now, Olivia fabric trimmed seats with a rear seat central armrest, screen sunroof, electronic sound system, looks like something a little bit nicer. And what have we got? Optional features include hinted front windscreen, mechanically controlled ABS and an automatic transmission. It's also telling us there's got extra sound installation to make it a little bit quieter. And of course this has got metallic paint, which would have been a little bit extra. Gear badge positioned above that side repeater. Looks like a different wheel trim. I don't think these will be alloy wheels at this time. And a look at that interior. And it looks like we've got one more picture of the Escort gear in red. We then get to the XR3s, both the standard model and the convertible. So let's look at some of this. So the XR3i, very much you think about the 80s when you think about XR3is, developed by the Ford Special Vehicle Engineering. The coveted Escort XR3i looks and goes like a true thoroughbred. The key to its sporting character is a smooth, flexible and free revving engine with Bosch K Jetronic fuel injection. Key features include a potent 1.6 litre power unit with fuel injection and electronic ignition, smooth, precise 5-speed gearbox, fully independent sport suspension, front and rear spoilers, bumpers and body style mouldings with stylish red inserts, black inserts on Rosso red, central lock-in driving lamps, remote control door mirrors with body colour housing, tilt or slide glass sunroof, a nice cassette player, and what else we've got? Extras we can have. Heated front windscreen, alloy wheels and mechanically controlled anti-locking brakes. Yes, those alloy wheels were not standard on your XR3i. Looks very nice here in black. Always a little bit disappointed, I must admit, with the XR's interiors. It's okay, it's a little bit sporty, I guess, with that centre insert on the seats, but really nothing outstanding. We then go to that centre, sorry, not centre, but that interior. Again, not looking that fancy really, it doesn't really match the outside in my opinion. And then we get to, if you wanted an open top one, you could, the XR3i Cabriolet. So it says here, the fully insulated hood makes the Cabriolet as snug as a saloon car in bad weather. But in fine weather, just release the couple of catches, one on either side of the windscreen, and the hood drops down to its storage shelf behind the back seat, where it's secured by safety catches. Features now include central locking, driving lights. Of course, them driving lights, you couldn't have a sporty forward driving lamps, could you? An electronic aerial, or electric aerial I should say. A power operated hood is available as an extra cost option. We've got to look at these sort of standard steel wheels. They really don't look that great, do they? Just these sort of white covers. I think you did need to opt to the alloy really. Now we get finally we get a look at that quartz clock it keeps talking about, and the cabriolet with the alloy wheels in this very nice blue colour, and a final sort of image of looking down on it. So the Escort range was really a full range of cars at this stage, a real lot of different specifications you could have, and that's even before we get to the Estate. Now the Estate, again, we could have different versions. We could have a popular, an L or a GL at this time, and you know, a bit more practical is the what it's saying here. You know, it's still a reasonably small car, but a little bit extra room in the back for a small family. Let's have a look at some of these images anyway. Oh, this particular Escort and this Escort, like I say, you could get it as a popular, an L or a GL. I'm going to say this is probably an L. We've got sort of wheel trims to mean it's not going to be a popular, but there's no chrome around the windows, which will mean it's an L rather than a GL. The GL would have all chrome around these windows, as we've seen previously. And then related back here, you can see this is an L as well, and we get an idea of some of these little ideas of being able to fold those back seats down. It says like the popular and L, the Escort GL Estate can carry 5 people, so it is kind of like saying it's a GL, which is, I think that I still would say that picture is of the Escort L, but nevertheless, it's showing that it can fold these seats down. And we get another sort of re-image of the Escort Estate. This time it is obviously a GL. It does have the chrome around the windows there. And we get a sort of glimpse of that sort of rear wash wipe system. That familiar dashboard. And those familiar seats, and there is some sort of specifications for those 3 models here. I'm not going to go through all the specifications because they're pretty much in line with the saloon models, but of course if you do want to read it, you can always pause the screen. I will move the screen back a bit so you get the bottom of that as well. I don't know if we can get it all in at the same time, maybe. There we go, but I guess you'd want to know what they are. There you go, popular, L and GL. So that's the specifications for those 3 estates. Okay, and then we've got the Escort technical specifications, so the dimensions, and then we've got the 3 carburetor models by the looks of it, the 1.3, the 1.4 and the 1.6. If we move the page across though, we get the injected 1.6 and the 1.6 diesel. Just moving back, we get more specifications, looks like performance figures. Let's try and get that nicely in the shot for you if you are interested. Like I said, I don't usually go through all this, but you know, there are the technical specifications. Of course, that 1.6 injection is going to be the fastest, 115 miles per hour, top speed 9.6. Looks like that diesel is the slowest, 91 miles per hour top speed, 0 to 60 in a very slow 16.6 at this stage. And also we've got the estate figures there as well, and that continues over leaf. The 3-door Escorts, the 5-door Escorts. This is the curb weights. Of all the models. Technical specifications, as in which engines and gearboxes you can get with which models by the looks of it. Oops, gone out of focus just temporarily there. There we go, it's just about back again. Apologies for that. Again, I'm not going to go through all this, but you can pause the screen if you need to look at all this. You've got then brakes, exhaust system, fuel tank, radiator, fan, suspension, etc, etc. All standard throughout the range by the looks of it. We then get the final sort of Escort exterior specifications. Next page we get to the prices, but it starts by telling what's standard on every model, and then it starts going into additional exterior features. You know, if you've got a bright insert or a red insert, the bumpers for each model, and various information about lights, locks, mirrors, spoilers, tinted glass, tyres, wheels, etc. I don't think I can get it all in one shot, unfortunately. Like I say, you'll probably struggle to see it like that, but which is why I've had to zoom in there as much as possible. Like I say, if you do need to pause it, then do so, remembering that, you know, it goes popular, L, LX, GL gear, XR3 and XR3, meaning, you know, whether it's the standard XR3 or the convertible. So, not quite true, we're not yet up to the prices, are we? The Escort interior specifications first. This is all the things that are standard on all the Escort models. And like I said, very extensive at this time. You know, we've got a popular, an L, an LX, a GL, a gear, XR3 standard, XR3 cabriolet. Very extensive trim, really, isn't it? Again, I'm not going to go through all this. The video would be too long, unfortunately. And that gets us to the end of the interior specifications. A continuation of those interior features. Mirrors, seats, steering wheel, etc, etc. Sunroof, windows and wipers. And then we get the Escort colours and trim. So quite an extensive, nice sort of colour range really for the Escort at this time. Diamond white, ivory, burgundy red, galaxy blue, maritime blue, Rosso red and black at extra cost. And it kind of like tells you on there, you know, what it's with the trim level depending on your main pattern seat fabric, and of course your metallic colours as well. What have we got? Strato silver, silica gold, chestnut, regency red, crystal blue, azure blue, willow green and mercury grey. And then finally, as promised, your price guide. The cheapest Escort you could get at the time was a 3-door Escort. That's just that 1.3 popular. £5,826.67. And then as we go down the list, obviously they get more and more expensive. Particularly when you look at these 1.6 injections, which are your XR3s, 9,419 for a 3-door, 9,794.19 for your 3-door XR3i with anti-lock brakes, and then your 2-door cabriolet is quite pricey, 11,301.54. And then at the bottom there you've got your diesels. You know, if you're buying a diesel, you're really going to suffer from that acceleration, but of course you get that extra fuel economy, but you're certainly having to pay a lot more for your diesel vehicle. Sort of like, what is it? I guess it's not even £1,000, so it's not too bad. Often they're over £1,000 for that diesel option, but actually it's not too badly priced. And then finally your Escort option guide, so how much each individual accessory is, if available, of course. Obviously the one that I would definitely get for your Escort 3i is those alloy wheels. So let's see how much those alloy wheels would have cost. If we can find that. There we go. Alloy wheels, your 6x14 alloys, £250 extra on your XR3. Makes sense to get them, and I think that's probably the reason why I can't really remember many XR3s without that alloy wheel extra. But as always, you find that the most expensive thing is your optional warranty. So there we go, that is today's Ford Friday and the Mark IV Escort. I'm sure lots of you have got memories of the Ford Escort Mark IV, so please do jot that down in the comments. Always interesting to read. I think rust was its enemy, of course. But for now, we'll say have a great weekend, of course. There will be a Saturday special episode tomorrow if you want to watch that. Saturday special is like a bit of a roundup of the week, a shorter episode. But for now, we'll say thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Take care and goodbye.